and the contributions that a platform has been created. The bigger platform will be on the 10th of September. To the former SG of the Youth League that is here, who's also a Deputy Minister of Home Affairs. Today we're talking about undocumented foreigners. Now we're with him here. He is committed that he will be part of the journey with us to correct those issues. Former leaders of the Youth League that are here. I see Comrade Philip, who's here, who's also... No, not you, Philip. The right Philip. Yeah, the right Philip, who's one of the comrades that were part of because this is a relaunch. We're not the founders. It must be clarified, comrades. We're not the founders. It's a relaunch of this platform. With his team and former leaders of the Youth League that is with him here, who they've invited to come. The Deputy President of the Youth League, who is also a Deputy Minister of Employment and Labour. Now today we're engaging two issues. We're with them here. They are here. One can resolve one, the other one can resolve undocumented, can resolve the employment of restaurants. Now, when we speak, we speak to implement, because we have all the departments we've touched on today, both the deputy ministers are products of the Youth League. And the TG of the Youth League and the SG. Now we're saying that leagues, comrades who are here, members of the media, there have been complaints in the past that the youth does not have a digital platform to contribute. And this is a platform that we feel must resolve, because others will contribute in different ways. Others contribute through writing, others contribute through organizing. There's many ways we can contribute to shaping where we want to take the country moving forward. And I always tell the SG of the Youth League that we need to start working like people who are taking over the country tomorrow. We must not work like we are going to take over the country in 10 years' time. We are going to take over the country tomorrow. Now, the youth from all sectors must know the Youth League is a platform for that. The today one might be a bit boring because the contribution is mainly done by the leadership. But the plan is to open up to all young people who want to contribute knowledge and ideas to the ANC and the ANC Youth League. And this is a platform that we've created for everyone. Now, we're saying that this is a platform that you need to be closer to. Than insulting each other on Facebook, we're creating a platform to clarify each other. Because we're not taking lightly Comrade SG. On Facebook, because we're not going to have a situation whereby it's only in the ANC where ANC members insult each other in public. But not that in other political organizations there's no differences. But they have a platform on how they engage each other. Now we're raised on that culture because the future that we want of taking over the ANC is not going to be a future of chaos, because we contribute also a lot to the losing of a hegemony of the ANC because of our conduct in public. How we disrupt BGMs, how we insult each other on Facebook. You know, people, they can even insult their own president of the ANC and the Youth League on Facebook for likes from opposition. Now, those are things that we need to correct. We know that from a culture where this is Yeganji, as well post Polokwane, there was a culture that was instilled that people will just get away with wrong things. Others might be rewarded even later. But I know now, those are things of the past, comrades. We're not going to read such an organization. But body of knowledge is here. Let's read, let's contribute. Comrade Wesley will do it digitally because everyone's got a smartphone now. We might not be like you, Comrade Philip, where we must distribute papers all over branches on emails for printing. They might have to use how the ANC does it. The ANC, I know every Monday or Friday, I received an email from the ANC for ANC Today, Comrade Wesley. Now every Monday or Friday, now you need to agree that when you are using Wednesdays or fortnightly to send emails and on your page to the youth so they know what is the Youth League national thinking, what is the view of the former SG of Youth League was a minister of Home Affairs, what is the view of different ministers on certain interventions, so that they're able to clarify it at the level of the ground. Because any problem is now, your comrades, is that we're not speaking the same thing. We're in the same organization, but there's no uniformity on communication. Now, these platforms create that uniformity. If Ngolga speaks about economic freedom now, not later, when he articulates it, and a sub-regional leader articulates it, it must be the same voice of the African National Congress. Now, thank you very much for coming to this launch, and we wish to see you later. Those who were there, they know we're doing things differently as G. We're tempted to host Peter Mokaba Stadium for the 80th anniversary of the Youth League. But we lobbied hardly that we've done enough stadiums. Now, let's be a Youth League of action. Now, we've resolved that we're having two folds of marches. The first march is for the GSE, to celebrate anniversary, to force those companies to contribute back into the economy. Because research also tells us that part of the reasons there's not job creation is that capital has held back its money. They're not pulling back into the economy. That's why the economy is not growing. The other one is to the union building. We made a commitment to the president that if he's not committing to our things, we're going to the union building. Because in his last two addresses, I've not heard him speak about export quotas. But before election, he was speaking about export quotas. Now, we are going to remind him about it, the commitments that have been made, and many other issues. Now, this time around, we are not going to a stadium, we're going to the streets to celebrate our anniversary, because we're saying there's not much to celebrate. Now we need to resolve socio-economic problems. Thank you, Comrades.
No, thank you very much, President. Members of the Youth League were here. Can you give the President a proper round of applause? I thought there are problems because some here we said till the evening SG, appointing them. Yeah. So not all of us whom hands were raised. Thank you very much, President. I think in J, Comrade President, in defense of the ANC President, on his recent imbizo here in Ekurhuleni, he even reiterated that the Youth League President said we must do this with regard to export quotas. So he's trying, President. It's my responsibility as media to also brief you every now and then, not in defense of the President of the ANC. My responsibility is to defend you, President. But I'm just saying, when he keeps his words, we must also report to your good self, Comrade President. Thank you very much, Comrade President. We are now going to invite Comrade Philip. I'm not sure what is the yardstick that was earlier used by the Youth League President, the correct one, and yeah, but the one that we invited with regard to Hlomelang. We are now going to, it's President who will later explain the yardstick of the correct one. I don't participate, I don't know. But we'll invite Comrade Philip to also take us through the general little.
Ngiyabonga Somlomo. My greetings to the President, SG, the entire leadership of the ANC Youth League, former leaders of the ANC Youth League, the Secretary General, the former Secretary General is here. I think today I am very happy. I think the President attested to that, and the SG, that it was also my wish that this happens, because for the reason of the past, the present, and the future, that the importance of the ANC Youth League engaging in the battle of ideas. True, President, I fully concur that this should never be about insults. It should be about propagating views that in the contested space of the battle of ideas in the public domain. During our times, when we launched and sustained Hlomelang, it was mainly on the basis of the twin task of the ANC Youth League, which is to champion youth interest and mobilize them behind the vision of the ANC. So in other words, Hlomelang did not exist as a mere philosophical space, but it existed because there is a revolution that is being undertaken, and then that revolution is contested. Because that revolution is being contested, it has the importance of Hlomelang, has the importance of unpacking, as the president has said, of unpacking why you have to march to the JSE, why in our times we had to resolve as the ANC Youth League the amalgamation of the Umsobomvu Youth Fund and the National Youth Commission and its provincial chapters into the National Youth Development Agency, which was a resolution taken in 2007 in Polokwane, which was actually submitted as a proposal by the ANC Youth League. So the point, President, is to say, I fully concur with you that everything must be about programs. So we don't clarify Buloi unless somebody is alleging that Uloiwe. Then you can come and then say that scientifically, what does that mean? Then you deal with that. If someone or some elderly man or elderly woman somewhere in some rural areas has been banned, and then you see that this is becoming a trend, then you can deal with it. But outside that, why entertain Buloi? Because from a dialectical historical materialism, it doesn't exist. I know some use other tools of analysis, which is not dialectical and historical materialist perspective. So hence I say today I am very happy because I know, I often say to people that, or to other comrades, that one of the mistakes we often make is to think that because your epoch was defined by certain things, therefore your importance is such that it negates the importance of the subsequent generations, which is very wrong, because every generation must define its own mission, as and it does that out of the prevailing material condition. So, through President, we used paperwork. After every publication, we will have to fax it. I don't know if any one of you have seen a fax. We'll fax it or email it to the branches, so that they get a read of the Hlomelang, because there were no smartphones. So I'm happy, President, that you are correctly saying that you'll be redefining Hlomelang in the current epoch. Yeah, but as I'm gonna sit down, firstly, I want to make reference to the meaning of propaganda as I Googled it, because in as much as I lived during the times of fax, I also now live in the times of Google as well. So I've adapted to what the Youth League today is actually exposed to. I want to make reference to this because I thought it is very important that Cambridge Dictionary define propaganda as information, ideas, opinions, or images, often only giving one part of an argument, that are broadcast, published, or in some other way spread. The Wikipedia says propaganda is communication that is primarily used to influence or persuade an audience to further an agenda which may not be objective. The Britannica says propaganda is the dissemination of information, facts, arguments, rumors, half-truths, or lies to influence public opinion. Then the Collins, not you, President, the Collins Dictionary says propaganda is information, often inaccurate information. And then the Oxford says it's a systematic dissemination of information, especially in a biased or misleading way. If you look into all this definition, there is some truth in it, except that the very notion of propaganda has been defined in a propaganda way, because it is biased. The definition itself is biased because it is biased towards the dominant forces globally, because it is biased against revolution, because the term propaganda found its genesis and expression within revolutionary movements. And precisely because of that, it is cast even in dictionary terms, in negative terms, to dissuade its usage as a term that actually forges the thrust of revolutionary struggle. So all I'm saying is that there is nothing wrong about being biased. As the ANC, we say we are biased to which class? To the working class. So we are biased because the national sphere and the global sphere is contested in many ways. So as the ANC, we are biased towards a certain agenda, which is the National Democratic Revolution, whose end game is the National Democratic Society. So those were my last words, but I've got Comrade Lawrence here, President SG, whom I just want to request that you give him two minutes. He's the one who actually designed the look and feel of Hlomelang when we launched it. And together we worked very closely, so that he just gave those whatever I may have missed in my articulation. But otherwise, from my side, President, I'm very happy, and I think if anything, this is going to elevate the ANC Youth League as a respectable, and in your own words, President, as a generation of leaders that is ready to govern. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Comrade. Afternoon, Comrade President, leadership of the Youth League, former SG. Mine is not going to be very long because I was part of the elite of the editorial collective of Hlomelang. I'll just talk on the highlights, because I remember our first edition, President, was on the 19th of January 2005, with the headline, "We Demand Justice," the first letter from the President, which was about the plea bargain deal the NPA made with Mark Thatcher. Some of you may remember that story. But just to go back a bit, in fact, one of the things that influenced the thinking even before Hlomelang was launched in 2005, after the Congress in 2004, where our current SG was elected president, he was invited by President Mbeki to write as a guest president in the ANC Today. He's the only other person who's ever written on President Mbeki's column as a president. He was a guest president. So that predated Hlomelang 2004. And Hlomelang, as Philip was saying, became a platform for a battle of ideas. In fact, we had some creative ways to promote Hlomelang. One of those was to give away books that had been signed. I remember Beyond the Engeli Mountains, we got President Mbeki to autograph a couple of books that were given to young people, because they had to demonstrate, that they've read Hlomelang. That was part of our early ways of promoting the publication. But also interestingly, in fact, on the run-up to the 2007 Polokwane conference, Hlomelang was a platform for the battle of ideas in relation to the two centers of power debate, where we would publish on the 1 week arguments in favor and arguments against. We use that platform to provide a balanced platform for all comrades to engage on those issues. And indeed, Hlomelang became quite, even the media, the letters from the president, because we initially started with the publications once every 2 weeks, with a demand also from the structures as well as from the media, because they always wanted to hear what the president of the Youth League was going to speak about this week. It basically complemented ANC Today and the ANC Today. And I'm quite happy that today we've got faster ways of disseminating the information, even publications, and branches are able to use the content of Hlomelang to engage in debates, because it does not mean that a perspective in Hlomelang is the end all and be all, but also to create that space. We've had quite exciting times and challenging times when we had to maintain the updates ourselves, when the service providers were not there, President. But we made sure that we sustain this publication throughout the years that Hlomelang was a publication. We still have quite a number of the letters from the president when SG was the president of the Youth League, and unfortunately it did not continue. But those publications and some of those letters and articles are still relevant to this day in terms of the public discourse in relation to the role of the Youth League, to how Uvugai Bambe needs to continue to shape the agenda of the ANC and the country. Thank you, President, and thanks everyone.
No. Siyafunda, Mongameli, safe to say. We are learning. Comrade SG, we are now going to invite you as the last person who's going to contribute on today's program. I'm still thinking, Ntsako, if it's important, critical for me to really extend an all event for you to engage leadership. Give me till the SG concludes, then I would have decided on what to happen from here. With powers vested on me for the day, allow me to lead. Thank you very much. Over to you, SG.
No, thank you very much. President, greetings to you, the Deputy President, Treasurer General, former SG of the Youth League. I think the person who has honored President is the Secretary General. People who are very important in the organization. So we've inherited the Youth League from this generation of the Youth League of the 25th National Congress, because we do recognize those who were in task teams, but they were never elected. This is the last comrade before us who was elected in the last conference, the 25th National Congress. It's important, comrades, because when we were engaging with the president about the need to relaunch this theoretical journal, Comrade Wesley and Zama, it's because person who has been persistent about us coming back to the principled battle of ideas. It's called principled battle of ideas. It's principled because, comrades, we've got to learn the culture of writing. But you can't write if you don't read. Yeah, so we need to go back into the culture of reading, because social media, particularly Twitter, you are limited on what you can write on Twitter. But it's very important what President has raised, very important, that the Youth League must be known of what it is, the critical body of opinions within the body politics of the movement. You can only be a critical body of opinion if you are writing. But if you speak 5 minutes, what you are saying will not be captured properly, because you are not expanding on the argument. What do you mean? So it's very important that all leaders will be encouraging leaders and members of the Youth League, as President would have said, to write on the Hlomelang. It must not only be President, myself, TG, Deputy President, DSG, who are writing in Hlomelang. It should be all the members and leaders of the Youth League on what they think should happen. In the 26th National Congress, we had agreed that we're going to strengthen the organization, both theoretically, ideologically, intellectually, and politically. But this is just one of the platforms that we are trying to strengthen the organization. The organization is not only strong on the basis of the number of branches, but the quality of the membership. And that quality of the membership of the Youth League is going to be measured against the ideas that the Youth League is going to be depositing in the principled battle of ideas. Dominant ideas in any given society are those of the ruling class. And us, who are from the working class backgrounds, us who represent the working class and the poor youth of this country, have to now have a platform to deposit what do we think about the political and economic trajectory of South Africa. And this is the platform from which we must do that, comrades. Now, we're going to be encouraging also SASCO, COSAS. SASCO used to have something called the Red Spark as their theoretical journal. We're going to encourage Hlomelang Mafundi on COSAS to say, reawaken those particular platforms so that there is a culture in the Congress youth formation and student formations of reading and writing. That culture helps that the youth of this country must not engage on spats of insults, but rather on intellectual discourses that we must be able to engage on in order for us to be able to take over, as the president is saying, this country. Because these leaders that are seated here, comrades, spokes, we must prepare to take over, as the president is saying, this country. But we can't take over this country if intellectually we are inferior because we are not reading about what should be happening. It's not wrong, comrades, to be heterodox, theoretical leaders, not orthodox leaders. Orthodox are those who are favoring the status quo. Dominant ideas are favoring the status quo, the neoliberal trajectory globally and here at home. Heterodox, theoretical activists are providing alternative ideas about how this development trajectory of the country can be able to ensure that it transforms and empowers those who are voiceless and who are currently disadvantaged, because it's not previously disadvantaged. The people living in squalor conditions in the informal settlement, in rural areas, in the townships, are not previously disadvantaged. They are disadvantaged now. They have to have a voice, those people, and that voice should be the Youth League. And that voice, the Youth League must not fear to write and critique even the economic trajectory of this country and the direction it should be taking. I think as part of building capacity of the organization, this platform is very critical for all of us, comrades. And we must ensure that through our research units, we are able to ensure that the kind of knowledge we're providing as an alternative development theory is provided into this theoretical journal. I see that the spokesperson is written editor. The editor-in-chief is president. After that, it's myself, then it's the spokesperson. The spokesperson, the chief spokesperson of the Youth League is the president of the Youth League. Then after it's myself, then the spokesperson, Wesley. I see we have created your fist job there as editors. So it's part of organizational memory. It's important that it must be taught, comrades, so that you understand. Now, in those few words, President, thank you very much. And let's welcome that, as the Chinese say, that let the thousands of school of thought contend and let a million of flowers blossom. Thank you very much.
I'm worried. You are laughing when I'm attacked. I'm worried, really. I'm very worried. What do you expect of me? I wonder. Comrade President, we will fix that, SG. Be rest assured. Immediately from here, I think Luyanda is fixing it already. We will fix that. We will now, comrades, before we allow media and everyone to have a bite, we'll allow the former Secretary General of the ANC Youth League, Comrade Nzuza, to be the last who takes the bite from the leadership. So leadership from the leadership. We'll now allow former SG, Comrade Nzuza, to take a bite. SG.
No, thank you very much. I'm not sure whether to call you chair, program director. I see you are also pointing to other people that side, but let's keep it to spokesperson, President. Thank you very much, Son Lomo, and greetings to the President, Deputy President, SG, TG, the leadership collective of the Youth League, and all the Youth Leaguers who are here. Really, for me, it is very exciting to be here with the leadership of the Youth League. And what we are doing today is what the Youth League has been missing for quite some time. A platform for constructive, revolutionary theory-driven arguments and contestation of ideas. Because if you continue not having such a platform, everything spills over to platforms that are not intended for that purpose. And I hope that this will shape the discourse, not only in the Youth League, but also in the ANC. Because this will create a platform for young people, not just only in leadership, but even those SG who are not even members of the Youth League, to contribute. Young people who are leading in academia, young people who are leading in the media and various areas. And also, not just for politically driven debates, issues of science, issues of education and how we actually take the country forward, issues of the political economy. So I think the platform is very much welcomed. I must say, President, that we are very happy with the manner in which the leadership has been managing the ANC Youth League. The consistency in programs, the consistency that you have displayed in support for the African National Congress throughout the election campaign. I know in the ANC, you really have people who tell you when you are doing good. Normally we come when everything is bad, and then we hit on that. But looking at the leadership and the level in which we are now operating in, it is very exciting. And for us, it's not really to come here and tell you that this is what you should have done and should do. In fact, we are not supposed to be seen frequently here. Probably maybe behind the scenes, so that we do not create a perception of micromanagement of the ANC Youth League. The ANC Youth League must be free to think for itself. And we must come in probably in some instances sekhuzo. Sekuthiwa naba banqandeni uyabo. And uma ningakanqandwa ke ay shuthi ke kusamele nithi ukuqinisa yebo. Need just to up the notch a bit. I think we also take the areas of focus that we are focusing on and the influence that we have yielded in making sure that young people are in strategic centers of power and they yield influence. Use them effectively. They are there because the Youth League saw it necessary for them to be there. So we wish you all the best, and we wish you that you continue to contribute at this level that you are contributing, and I'm sure that the Youth League will continue to grow stronger and stronger, which will contribute to the growth of the ANC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, former SG. I think our media friends, they've been here for quite some time. I said to them, it will only be 15 minutes. Maybe we start by your good selves. If there are any questions you'd want to pose before the leadership. And if there are none, okay. We'll now allow members. Oh, okay.
To reach out to the youth, particularly the youth. And then judging from the electoral results, it was a bit, I'm not sure if maybe you have done much to mobilize the young people. So how, then coming to this platform, how will this reach, because I think this is also part of strengthening your ground forces and all that. So how will this reach the people? I mean, because now you are facing the issue of high unemployment in the youth, the issue of crime, drugs, and all that. So how will this reach people like in the Northern Cape, Limpopo, deep down in Limpopo, Hlomelang as well. That's only my question. Thanks.
All right, thanks very much, President. That was the only one from media that I think you can quickly take, because it's my assumption that members of the Youth League are going to engage all safe to say panelists or the leadership who really spoke to the journal. So because this one, I think it's directly from media, I'm just hoping it's not a follow-up. I did not afford you downstairs on the press. Yeah, so we'll allow President to quickly take a bite on that, then move to comrades.
Yeah, thank you very much. We are from difficult elections. I think we must first acknowledge that. We went to these elections with unemployment of the youth above 60%. We went to these elections with NEFSA's administration and all of that collapsing. Students not receiving stipends, others removed from their accommodations. And these were one of the most difficult elections since '94. And I believe that if the Youth League was not there, it was going to be worse. And people must just acknowledge that it was going to be worse. Maybe we'll be sitting at 20% if the Youth League was not there, because society was really revolting. We went to these elections with municipalities collapsing. I'm saying an 84 billion metro of Johannesburg. According to protocols, Comrade SG is the president of the country, then is the mayor of Johannesburg, then is the deputy president. Now, that is the most important municipality. Now, you go there, there's more than 5 mayors in one term. The level of instability. Now, people are frustrated. Even other political parties not really get the mandate. I'm saying no one was able to take out many people to go and vote for their party. If we were to measure, it's only the ANC who has got 40. But many could not even get to even 20 or 15, even under difficult conditions. Now, that's why we've made upon ourselves, Comrade SG, that we need to be able to allow us every day to hold the administration accountable. That's why when they were saying I must go back to Parliament, we differed as the Youth League. Said no, the president of the Youth League must go to HQ to focus on this thing and make sure that we hold these ministers accountable and they come here. Now, it might be difficult for me to hold them accountable if I'm also a minister. But I don't know, why don't you focus on the department? On structures, we have structures everywhere in the country. One thing about the ANC and its leagues, with all the weaknesses that we have, we're the only political organization that exists everywhere. You can go to the deepest rural areas of Mthatha, where the SG is from. The SG is from one area, then Mthatha there. To get to his home, when he gets there, I can't find him on the phone for that whole week. We will find a branch of the Youth League there. And the ANC. Now, it's easy to take information anywhere else. And that's a strength we have. And that's what has kept the ANC together. That's why we want to do these ideas to strengthen what we have. So that, because the packet of ideas, as the SG of the former SG of the Youth League said, is something that we've left to chance. The level of consciousness. That's why you can't move it away, this thing from political education. Now, it's a very important platform for people to come out, but also to identify people with ideas. Because branches can be very brutal. A lot of comrades who are good writers are not good mobilizers. Now you'll find that they are not even considered even in a branch BC there, when they can contribute knowledge, but because they can't bring 10 people to a meeting, then there's a mob justice. Then the talent is lost in the process. Now through this journal, we're able to identify, and there was this young man in Tafurkop who wrote about this and this and this. Let's engage this. I'm saying society is able to interact with everyone according to the level of their skills. Now, I think with that, it will get to the ground. I'm sure by now it's getting to the ground. But also the media platforms, sometimes you might get issues from it. It's a platform for yourselves, Lena, to get issues. But we've got a Facebook platform. We've got a Twitter platform. We exist in all social media platforms. We are not doing very well on Twitter. It's a platform where the ANC we have not mastered that space for too long, but it will improve with time. It's the role of the Youth League to improve that platform, because if only I can say 600 members of the Youth League can be active on Twitter, it means the ANC can trend every day, and the Youth League. Now, it's some education that must bring in, but also it goes back to the issue we've been raising of access to data. South African, it's very expensive here to access information through data process. What other big companies charge in other countries and what we get charged here is not the same, and it's another issue that we must resolve urgently. But the former Minister of Communication spoke about it, Comrade Mogi Ngubele. I think we must make follow-ups on it, because these things might be accessed through that platform. Thanks.
Thank you very much, President. An assurance that we can give is that it's already out on our pages, Facebook page, Twitter, with the acknowledgement that we are not doing well, but Facebook, the journal is already out there. You can check the link and we start participating. Okay, there are no hands. We are all. No. Oh, yeah. I see that all of us are covered by President Malaj. Is your hand up? Yes? Yes. Okay. Yeah. And it will be one set of hands. In the absence of none, that will be the only hand, then we close. Yes, shoot.
I'm not used to this one. No, thank you very much, Comrade Hlomelang. I think it's just two things, or quickly on my side. On the one hand, it's a comment appreciating the platform, at least for promotion of open dialogue, and I think as President is saying, some comrades, the level of appreciation or grasp, the platform should not be used to intimidate. That if I write at a basic level, I might not be able to get airtime in the platform. But I do think it is quite an important platform. But also in terms of its editorial, maybe in the long run, we might look into investing seriously there, as SG was saying. If there is a current court case that is taking place, we can use the platform as also a space for academic debate, that in this case law that is being created here, this is what is happening. But as a suggestion, lastly, is an issue of if we can be able to measure its reach and impact, we can use it for advertorial as well, because we are able to say to certain people, this is the people we reach in a month. I just want to question the frequency of release, and maybe that we develop a small fact sheet that this is the limit that you have, what we post it in our social pages, and this is where we submit. Thanks.
All right, the SG will take the question quickly. The other one was a comment, SG.
No, thank you very much. I think we've agreed with the President that part of what we are reviving is this culture of writing. President is going to be releasing weekly letters from the President, and we release Hlomelang monthly, so that it can have the necessary content in the issues that we are raising, because some of the issues, as you are saying, they are academic questions around the economy, around social issues. So we'll be inviting different comrades to be writing about them. But in order for us to do collation of that, we need at least a month. But the President is going to be releasing presidential letters from the Youth League desk of the President. Thank you.
Thank you very much, SG, and thank you very much, members of media, officials as led by President, former SG, and the leadership to whom we would have extended the invite to, and disciplined members of the ANC Youth League and ANC leaders who are here. This brings to the conclusion of our activity. The following would now happen. President and the leadership here, followed by the media, will be the first to leave the door following Kelly, Comrade President. Yeah, from here, the leadership, followed by Bonatasha, that side. You will follow the leadership here. and you will live there. Kele will only open that door as led by President Colin Malachi and the leadership here. The rest of you will follow President. Thank you very much. Till we meet again.